Welcome to this video, which hopefully will help students that maybe are a little more insecure or maybe a little nervous, or just those who want to be cautious and be certain that they're running their Java programs correctly. And this video will help you go through those steps. Basically, I'll just paraphrase these, which you can see on the screen. You basically open your Java software, and that's assuming that you have installed it properly. I happen to personally be using Dr. Java. There are lots of different Java programs out there that you can use. And you can use the basic command file. You can use Eclipse. I find Dr. Java to be one of the least complex for beginning students. Use this software to type or possibly paste your Java program into your software. Save your program, and I'll talk about it having the same name in just a minute. You'll go through a series of compiling it, just check for mistakes, and correcting errors. So you'll do steps 4 and 5, compile and correct over and over again. And once it's clean, you'll have a special file called a class file that you will run to execute your output. Then you'll submit this to Blackboard. The one thing I want to make sure you don't do not use Microsoft Word or some fancy word processor for direct submission of your programs. It is very easy for you, and certainly for me, to tell whether or not you've used the proper program, because Microsoft Word will tend to capitalize stuff that makes Java very unhappy. I'm going to actually go ahead and walk through these steps with you by typing in a Java program from scratch. And I happen to have Dr. Java on my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and open that software. I've gone through an explanation of what you need to do to get your Java software loaded already, so I'll do that for you. All right, I'll start a brand new program, and with every Java program, I hope you can see this, you call it public class. And I'm going to call it first, just for a name. And I'm not going through an explanation of Java itself. This is not a video for teaching Java. This is a video for going through the software process. So every Java program is a class. It has to have a name. Mine happened to be named first. That means that when I save this to the computer, I have to call that program first. I can't call this program first on this screen and then save it as number 1. They have to be the exact same name. In this case, F-I-R-S-T with capital letter. All right? Every program in Java will end up having something called a public. And I've drawn a complete blank right here. Public static. I think I've got this right. I just had a brain burp, and I typically get this just fine. I think because I'm trying to rush and do this video before I go to church. You put a statement similar to this one, and again, I'm just typing right now. But I'm going to purposely make some mistakes so that you can see what happens with the compiler. And I'm doing a very basic program, nothing fancy. I'll do some fancy ones later as necessary. And I'm talking so you'll know the video is still working. Now, I need to make sure that I have end braces. Every left brace that opens to the right and every right brace that opens to the left must match up. They must contain each other, basically. You could have the program actually, if you wanted to do this, you could have the program actually be on one complete line of your screen like I'm doing here. It could be very jumbled. Java doesn't care. I do, because it's a matter of neatness, just like you would do if you were writing an English paper. Now I'm going to, once I've got this, I have to save this to the computer. And so if I go to File, Save As, and you probably ought to have a folder so you'll know exactly where it's going. I happen to have one called Java Work from CISC. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you must name the program by the same name as the public class title in line 1. Since mine is called First, I'm going to name it First. And even though you have files of type down here, if you can see this on your video, I always put .java after that just to be on the safe side. So it'll be some name .java, just like with the Word document, it calls it doc or docx. In Java, we need to call it .java. I'm going to save this. Now, had I not saved it, the program would have prompted me to do so anyway, because the next thing I do is I go to Tools, and I choose something that says Compile Current Document. And the reason I didn't write this step in my directions earlier in the video is that it depends on the software that you're using for your Java program writing. I'll choose Compile Current Document. Now, it's giving me some mistakes, and it doesn't necessarily know where mistakes are. It is not as clear as an instructor that says, hey, you left out a semicolon. Hey, you forgot to capitalize this letter, this character. It's not very direct. Now, this one mentions something On line 6, it says syntax error, meaning a grammar error. Insert semicolon to complete statement. And even though it looks like the semicolon should be after the quote, in this case it's got to be at the end of the line. And you learn this stuff as you go along, folks. It's not instantaneous. You have to make a lot of mistakes and get better at it. So once I correct that mistake, I can save it again. But if I go ahead and go to compile current document, it will prompt me to save it anyway. And I still have another error. It says system cannot be resolved. And you're going, what? Basically, it tries to put the insertion point at the place where the mistake is. It happens to be because the word system has to begin with a capital letter. Again, Java is very picky about stuff like this. You have to really watch your typing, especially if you're not a speller kind of person. So I'm going to go in and compile it again. I'm purposely making these mistakes to let you see what happens. There's another issue because I've misspelled the word print line. I've got LNT instead of TLN. So I've got to just keep correcting these mistakes. And once I keep compiling it until I call it a clean compile, and again it reminds me to save it, and you can always do the little check mark in Dr. Java if you want to. Once it has a clean compile, it will say completed, and then I can go in under the Tools menu and I can run the document. When I run it, it will try to execute what's happening, and what happens in this program is it prints precisely what's in quotes. My name is Michael, followed on the next line by I am the instructor. And if you can see this at the very bottom of the screen, this is what it shows. I don't know if I can bring this up higher so you can see it or not. There we go. There's the execution right there, which is hard to see with that block. But that's what happens. So my program is complete. Now it's saved, and all I have to do is to take this particular program. And if I wanted to actually look in my folder to see where this program is, I can go in here. I think it's called Java Work from CISC. And I've got several programs right here. I've got a one I have a one from earlier. I have a first.class, which is what Java runs, and then I've got a temporary file. You want to make sure that you send me the one. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you can see this. You want to send me the one, in my case, it looks like a notepad book. Do not send me first.class. It won't help any. Do not send me the temp file. You have to send me the one that is called first.java. If you don't show me that one, send me that one, I can't do anything for you. Hopefully this gives you an idea. Again, if you wanted to look at these steps and stop the video where you can pause and look at it, the main thing you just need to do is to practice and practice and practice. And once you get used to this, it will get easier. If you still have difficulties, get with a study mate online, or come by my office, or drop me a message or an email. I hope this will help you out.